The gravy boat slipped from Aunt Marlene's trembling hand, splattering across the white tablecloth like a fresh wound in the heart of our family's annual Thanksgiving farce. God help us, Hunter. You're turning this boy into a goddamn tragedy. Just like you. She hissed, her voice slicing through the clink of silverware, eyes narrowed in that familiar cocktail of pity and poison. But Jamie, my 8-year-old firecracker with Dylan's unruly curls and my stubborn chin, straightened in his booster seat, fixed his gaze on the room like he was staring down a storm, and whispered words that cracked the world wide open. My dads love each other more than you hate us, and that's why we're unbreakable. I froze, fork midway to my mouth, the room's chatter dying like a radio signal lost in static. Hunter Ellis, that was me, 34 and fraying at the edges, the punchline to every whispered joke in Elmwood, Ohio. We'd moved here 5 years ago, chasing the dream of roots in this Rust Belt town where cornfields stretched like forgotten promises and the local diner still served pie with a side of unsolicited advice. Dylan and I had built our life on whispers and stolen kisses, two guys from nowhere who dared to love loud enough to echo. But love like ours? In a place where family values meant shotgun weddings and Sunday sermons laced with hellfire? It was a fuse waiting for a spark. That spark had been Jamie. We'd adopted him straight out of the system, a scrawny 6-year-old with bruises that faded slower than his nightmares. Dylan held him first, right there in the agency office, murmuring, "Hey, kiddo, we're your soft landing." I remember the way Dylan's blue eyes, stormy as Lake Erie, lit up like he'd found the missing piece to his own shattered puzzle. We were invincible then, me teaching high school English, quoting Whitman to bored teens about how I celebrate myself and sing myself, Dylan coaching Little League, his laugh booming over the crack of bats like summer thunder. Our little brick rancher on Maple Street smelled of chili simmering on the stove and the faint citrus of Dylan's aftershave clinging to the pillows. But Elmwood had teeth. It started small. Tires slashed with fag carved into the rubber, egged windows on Pride Month like it was a holiday prank. Then the whispers turned to shouts. My sister Carla, ever the golden child with her PDA crown and minivan empire, cornered Dylan at the grocery store. "You're confusing that boy, Dylan. What kind of man raises a kid without a woman's touch? You're not cut out for this." He came home pale, hands shaking as he cracked open a beer. "They're right, Hunt. Maybe I am poison. I should have seen the fracture lines spiderwebbing across us." Dylan had grown up in foster care himself, bounced like a pinball between homes that promised warmth but delivered fists. Adoption papers in hand, we'd vowed to be different, better. But the town's venom seeped in, slow as rust. Church ladies boycotted my lesson plans for slipping in a line from Leaves of Grass, about two men entwined in eternal summer. Parents pulled their kids from Dylan's team, muttering about indecent influences. And Jamie? He started asking questions that gutted me. Why do the neighbors cross the street when we wave? Daddy Hunt. The night it all splintered was a Thursday in July, heat wave thick as regret. We just tucked Jamie in, his nightlight casting fireflies on the ceiling, when Dylan sat me down at the kitchen table, the same one we'd splurged on at IKEA, dreaming of family breakfasts. "I can't do this anymore," he said, voice flat as the Midwest plains. Not to him. Not to us. My heart slammed against my ribs like a trapped bird. "What the hell are you saying?" He wouldn't meet my eyes, just stared at the salt shaker like it held the secrets to salvation. "I'm leaving, Hunt. For his sake." Carla's right, we're selfish, dragging him through this hate parade. Betrayal tasted like battery acid. I begged, pleaded, my fists balled in his shirt until threads popped. This is our family. Dylan, you promised. But he packed a duffel in the dark. Left a note on the fridge. I love you both too much to ruin you. Find someone who fits this town. By dawn, his truck was gone. Taillights fading toward the highway like a bad country song. I crumpled to the floor, sobs echoing off linoleum, while Jamie patted in, rubbing sleep from his eyes. Where's Daddy Dill? He'd asked, and I'd lied through gritted teeth. He's on a trip, buddy. But he'll be back. He never did. Not in 2 years. Postcards trickled in from Seattle. Rain-slick streets and vague apologies scrawled in his looping script. Thinking of you both. Miss the chili. I burned them in the backyard fire pit. Ashes swirling like the pieces of me he'd taken. Raising Jamie alone became my war. PTA meetings where moms clutched pearls at my lifestyle. Grocery runs dodging pitying glances. Bedtime stories laced with extra chapters on how love comes in all colors. Even rainbows the world tries to bleach out. I was the punchline. The widower without the widow's weeds. Just a queer dad in flannel. Shuttling carpools and coaching t-ball with a smile welded on. Thanksgiving loomed like a guillotine that year. Carla insisted. Family heals. Hunter. Bring the boy. Uncle Ray's grilling turkey. I almost said no, but Jamie tugged my sleeve. I's hopeful. Can we see Aunt Mar? She makes the pie with the swirly crust. How do you deny a kid crumbs of normalcy? So we showed up to her McMansion in Powell. The driveway lined with SUVs that screamed suburbia safe. The house smelled of sage and simmering resentment. Ray barking at the TV over football scores. Marlene fluttering with her wine glass. Carla's husband Tom nursing a scotch like it was holy water. We settled at the long oak table. Jamie wedged between me and a cousin he barely knew. His plate piled with mashed potatoes he poked at like suspicious aliens. Conversation flowed easy at first: school, weather, the Browns' latest choke. Then Ray, red-faced from his third helping, leaned back and fixed me with that bulldog stare. So, Hunter, how's the solo parenting gig? Still batting zero on the dating scene? Or you got some grinder ghost haunting your bed? Laughter rippled, sharp as broken glass. Marlene chimed in. Saccharine. It's just unnatural. Sweetie. A boy needs balance. You know, a mother's intuition. My jaw clenched, fork scraping china like nails on chalkboard. Jamie's small hand found mine under the table, squeezing like he was anchoring me to shore. I'd rehearsed comebacks in the mirror, witty barbs from my lit classes, lines about how Shakespeare's sonnets didn't specify genders for devotion. But words stuck, throat tight with the weight of 2 years' silence. We're doing fine, I managed, voice steady as a lie. Better than fine. Carla leaned in, her smile all teeth. Oh, come on, bro. Dylan's been gone, what, 2 Thanksgivings now? You gotta move on. Find a nice girl. Settle down proper. For Jamie's sake. The room nodded. A chorus of agreement. Ray bellowing. Hell yeah, man's gotta man up. Heat flushed my neck. Shame and fury twisting like kudzu. Jamie shifted, his chair creaking, and that's when he looked up. Not at me, but at them all. His voice cutting through the din like a bell in fog. My dads love each other more than you hate us, and that's why we're unbreakable. Silence crashed down, heavier than the turkey carcass. Forks hovered, eyes widened, Ray's mouth agape. Marlene's glass tipping precariously. Jamie didn't flinch, just buttered his roll with the concentration of a surgeon, as if he'd recited the Pledge of Allegiance. I stared at him, heart swelling and shattering in equal measure. Where had he learned that? From the picture books I'd read him about two penguins raising a chick? From the late-night talks when he asked about Dylan? And I'd whispered, "Love doesn't break easy. Kiddo, it bends?" Carla recovered first, sputtering, "What did you just?" But Ray waved her off, face paling beneath his ruddy cheeks. Boy's got spirit. I'll give him that. No apology. Not yet. But the mockery had evaporated, leaving a vacuum where judgment once squatted. Marlene busied herself with napkins, avoiding my gaze, and Tom cleared his throat, muttering something about seconds. As pie was served, pecan, sticky sweet and laced with bourbon, the air shifted, tentative as a truce. Jamie chattered about school, his drawing of a family with two dads and a spaceship, and for the first time, no one shushed him. I caught Carla's eye across the table. Hers glistened, not with wine. Later, as we bundled into coats, she pulled me aside on the porch, breath fogging in the crisp November air. "He's something else, that kid. Takes after you both. I guess. It wasn't absolution, but it was a crack in the wall, a sliver of light where darkness had reigned." Driving home through Elmwood's sodium-lit streets, Jamie asleep in the back, head lolling against his stuffed T-Rex, I let the tears come. Not for the pain they'd dredged up, but for the boy who'd wielded truth like a shield. Dylan would have been proud, hell. He was the one who'd taught Jamie to stand tall, back when our love was a fortress. I glanced at my phone, thumb hovering over his last number. "Miss the chili," the postcard had said. Maybe it was time to brew a pot. But roots don't untangle easy, and neither does regret. The next morning, snow dusted the lawn like forgotten confetti, and Jamie burst into the kitchen, waving a crayon masterpiece. Two stick figures with hearts, labeled "Daddy Hunt plus Daddy Dill equals forever." "Can we call him today?" he asked, eyes bright as fresh frost. I nodded, dialing before doubt could claw back in. Voicemail. Of course, Dylan's voice. "Warm gravel. Leave a message. Or just show up. You know where to find me." I hung up, staring at the receiver like it held lightning. Seattle was a red-eye away, but bridges burned don't rebuild overnight. Still, Jamie's words echoed, a mantra against the chill, unbreakable. We'd start there with a sentence, a call, a chance. Weeks blurred into a tentative thaw, Elmwood's winter wrapping the town in a hush of white that muffled more than just footsteps. Jamie's dinner declaration rippled outward like a stone in a pond, ripples that lapped at church potlucks and gas station counters, turning stares into sidelong glances, whispers into awkward hellos. Mrs. Hargrove at the library slipped me an extra book on alternative families, her cheeks pink as if she'd smuggled contraband. Even Ray sent a gruff text. Turkey was dry. "Your boy's got balls, though. Next year on me." No rainbow flags waving from the rooftops, but the air felt less like a noose. I threw myself into the rhythm of us. Mornings of frost-kissed windshields and packed lunches with notes folded like love letters. "You're my hero, kid. Eat the carrots." Afternoons grading essays on Fitzgerald's Green Lights, dreaming of what Dylan and I could have chased if the world hadn't dimmed ours. Evenings with Jamie building Lego empires, his giggles a bomb against the hollow echo in our bed. But nights, they were minefields. I'd wake sweat-soaked from dreams of Dylan's hands, calloused from glove leather, tracing my spine like Braille secrets, only to bolt upright in sheets gone cold. That call to Seattle gnawed at me, a half-healed scar itching for touch. I replayed voicemails in my head, scripting reunions that ranged from Hallmark hugs to fistfights in the rain. Come home, I'd say, or why'd you leave us to rot? Jamie sensed the storm brewing. He'd curl against me on the couch during movie nights, whispering, Daddy Dill's like the prodigal son in that Bible story Aunt Mar reads. He comes back fatter and forgiven. Kid logic, sharp as a tack, cutting through my cynicism. Forgiveness? I'd swallowed enough gall for a lifetime. Betrayal's aftertaste lingered like cheap coffee. Mid-December, Carla called while I scraped ice from the truck. Dinner was a start. Hunt. But Ray's still griping. Says you're poisoning the well with your choices. Her voice wavered, caught between loyalty and love. Bring Jamie to Christmas Eve. No lectures. Promise. Just eggnog and lights. I hesitated, the plow rumbling past like distant thunder. What's the angle? Sis? Pity play, she sighed, wind chimes tinkling in the background. No angle. Jamie's family. And you. You're my brother. You idiot. We miss you. We went. The drive to Powell was a gauntlet of salted roads and radio carols crooning about chestnuts and joy to the world. Lyrics that twisted like barbed wire in my gut. Jamie sang along, off-key and earnest, his mittened hands drumming the dash. Carla's tree glittered like a guilty conscience, ornaments from our childhood dangling like fragile truces. Marlene cooed over Jamie's gifts, crayon art of snowmen in tutus, while Ray grunted approvals from his recliner, bourbon in hand but mercifully muted. Tom cornered me by the mistletoe, breath minty with scotch. Heard you teach those kids about, the gays in literature. Bold move. His tone wasn't hostile, just probing, like he was testing fence wire. I shrugged, sipping spiked cider. It's called Expanding Minds, Tom. Ever read Auden? We must love one another or die. He chuckled, low and uneasy. Poetic. But Dylan's ghost hangs heavy. Huh? Kid asks about him every visit. My chest tightened, cider turning sour. Ghosts don't leave notes from the Pacific Northwest. Jamie saved the night again, commandeering the living room for a puppet show, sock puppets of the three daddies, saving Christmas from grumpy elves, clearly Uncle Ray stand-ins. Laughter bubbled up, genuine for once, even from Marlene, who dabbed her eyes with a napkin. As we drove home under a canopy of stars sharp as diamonds, Jamie yawned. See, they're not so bad. Just scared, like Daddy Dill was, wise beyond his scars. That boy. Scared. The word lodged like a hook, reeling in memories I'd buried deep. Flashback to our first winter together. Dylan and I snowed in at that cabin up in Hocking Hills, rental for our honeymoon after the adoption papers cleared. Bundled in quilts, whiskey warming our veins. We'd made love slow and fierce by the fireplace, flames dancing shadows on his freckled shoulders. This is it. Hunt, he'd murmured, breath hot against my neck. You, me, the kid someday. Against the world. I traced the tattoo on his collarbone, a compass rose, inked during his wild college days. World be damned. We've got north. He'd believed it then. So what flipped the switch? I dug out the box from the attic that New Year's Eve. Attic dust motes swirling like specters as fireworks popped outside. letters from foster moms who'd failed him, a faded photo of teen Dylan at prom, tux and tie, arms slung around a girl who looked as miserable as he did. And there, at the bottom, our adoption file, stamped approved, with a sticky note in Dylan's hand, for the unbreakable trio. Unbreakable. The irony burned hotter than the cider. Resolution hit like a hangover. I'd go to Seattle. Book the ticket. Face the dragon. But fate, that capricious bitch, had other plans. A week later, as I shoveled the drive, back aching from lesson plans and life, a truck rumbled up, plates splashed with road salt, bearing the ghost himself. Dylan Hayes, leaner than I remembered, beard threaded with silver like frost on evergreens, blue eyes shadowed under the brim of a wool cap. He killed the engine, stepped out into the flurries, hands jammed in pockets like he was bracing for blizzard or brawl. "Hunt," he said, voice rough as gravel under tires. Jamie exploded from the door, coat half on, yelling, "Daddy Dill," and launched into his arms. Dylan caught him easy, burying his face in those curls, eyes squeezing shut against tears or truth. I couldn't tell. I stood there, shovel limp, snow melting in my boots, heart a riot of rage and relief. 2 years, I ground out. 2 goddamn years. And you show up like it's casual Friday. He set Jamie down, the boy scampering inside with promises of hot cocoa. Dylan's gaze met mine, steady now, stripped bare. I tried calling. Left messages you never answered, like half of them. Anyway, the rest I deleted in fury. Needed to see you. Both of you, wind-whipped, carrying the scent of pine and pine sol from his jacket, same as always. I wanted to punch him, kiss him, send him packing all at once. Why now? Town's still the same poison well. He stepped closer, flakes catching in his lashes. Because of a sentence. Got a postcard from Carla about Thanksgiving. Your boy, he said. Dylan swallowed, Adam's apple bobbing. He said you're unbreakable. Reminded me what I ran from. My throat closed. Jamie's words a bridge I'd never seen building. You didn't run from hate, Dill. You ran from us. We talked on the porch swing that creaked under our weight. Jamie spying from the window with a grin. Stories spilled. His job bartending in a Seattle dive. Nights staring at fairy lights wishing for Ohio stars. Therapy sessions unpacking foster ghosts. Realizing shame wasn't love's antidote. I thought leaving made me noble, he admitted, voice cracking. But it just made me hollow. My hand found his, tentative, the calluses familiar as scripture. Hollow's fixable. But trust, that's a rebuild. He stayed for Coco, Jamie regaling him with tales of school plays and snow forts. Watching them, Dylan's laugh rumbling like distant thunder, Jamie's eyes alight. I felt the fracture mend, slow as sap rising in January oaks. That night, after tucking Jamie in, Dylan lingered in the hall, our shadows merging in lamplight. Can I crash on the couch? Just tonight. I nodded, pulse thundering. Couch my ass. He ended up in my bed by midnight, bodies remembering what words couldn't erase. The arch of his back, the salt of his skin, love's language unspoken but fluent. Morning brought waffles and wariness. Stay, Jamie begged over syrup rivers. Dylan ruffled his hair. Working on it, champ, but Elmwood loomed, its judgments a specter at the feast. Carla texted, Heard the prodigal returned. Dinner Sunday, neutral ground. Neutral? In Powell? Still, we went, me, Dylan, Jamie in his Sunday best. A trio tentative as fresh snow. The table was set neutral enough. Ham instead of turkey. Marlene's pie cooling on the sill. Ray clapped Dylan on the back. Harder than friendly. Grunting. "'Bout time you manned up." Carla shot him a glare. Pouring wine like peace offerings. Conversation danced around minds. Weather. Jamie's latest A in spelling, unbreakable, was his bonus word. The minx. Then Marlene, emboldened by Merlot, leaned in. "Dylan, honey, what kept you? Some West Coast fling? Or just cold feet?" Dylan's fork paused. Eyes flicking to mine, permission sought. Granted in a nod. Cold feet. Yeah. And shame. Thought I was protecting them by bailing. He reached for my hand across the table. Public as a declaration. Gasps rippled. Tom's cough. Ray's harumph. But Jamie piped up. "Daddy Dill's like the Grinch." Heart grew 3 sizes. Laughter broke the tension. Real this time. Even from Ray, who muttered, "Kids a riot, but peace is fragile porcelain." As coffee steamed, Carla pulled Dylan aside, her voice carrying, "You broke him, you know. Hunter's been a ghost." Dylan's reply was low thunder. "I know. Paying for it daily." I eavesdropped from the kitchen. Heart-twisting betrayals echo, but laced with hope. That night, tangled in sheets with Dylan. His whispers against my temple. "I'm all in, Hunt." No more running. Felt like vows renewed. Yet doubt lingered. A shadow at dawn. Could love weather Elmwood's gale? Valentines crept in on chocolate hearts and cards from Jamie. To my 2 dads. "Be my Valentine forever." Dylan stayed, crashing our routine like a comet. Coaching practices resumed. His truck parked curbside like a challenge to gossips. Whispers evolved. Ellis boys got his man back. Miracle or madness? We ignored them. Building barricades of date nights, diner pie under neon glow, and family hikes, Hocking Hills Redux. Sans snow. But conflict brewed, dark as storm clouds rolling off the lake. A PDA meeting turned ambush. Mrs. Whitaker, Bible in purse, cornered me post-adjournment. "Your partner's return is stirring things." Complaints about moral confusion in the classroom. My blood iced. "It's literature, Karen. Not indoctrination." She pursed lips. "To some, it's the same. Watch your step, or we'll watch yours." Dylan fumed when I told him, pacing our kitchen like a caged wolf. "Screw him. We move. Bigger city. Real acceptance." Panic clawed my gut. Elmwood was flawed, but it was home. Roots tangled deep for Jamie's school. My tenure track. "Run again? That's your fix." Words escalated. Old wounds reopening. His abandonment. My resentment. "You left once. Don't make me chase you twice." He slammed the door. Truck roaring into night. Leaving Jamie's puzzled, "What's wrong?" hanging like smoke. Dawn found him on the porch, head in hands. "I'm terrified, Hunt. Of failing you again. Of them taking him away." I sat beside him, coffee steaming between us. "Then fight with me. Not against." We kissed then, slow and sealing, salt of tears mingling. But the storm wasn't over. Ray called that afternoon. Voice gruff. "Heard trouble. Family meeting. My place." Bring the boys. It was a powder keg disguised as pot roast. Ray's den, walls papered in deer heads and faded glory. Marlene fluttering, Carla mediating with pie. Jamie played with blocks in the corner, oblivious. Ray lit into Dylan. You waltz back like nothing? After ditching my nephew to play martyr. Dylan held steady, eyes on me. I was wrong. Stupid. But I'm here to make it right. Marlene interjected. Soft venom. Right for who? That boy's impressionable. What if? Jamie dropped his block tower, clatter echoing. Stop. Tiny voice, but thunderous. You all talk like love's a bad word. But my dads, they're my superheroes. And if you can't see that, you're the bad guys. Room stilled, echoes of Thanksgiving. Ray deflated, muttering, Kid's got a point. Carla teared up, hugging Jamie fierce. Out of the mouths of babes. Truce held, fragile but forged. Dylan and I drove home lighter, hands linked over console. He's our anchor, Dylan said. I nodded, heart full. But anchors drag too next week. A letter arrived, school board inquiry into curriculum concerns. The fight was far from won. Spring unfurled in Elmwood like a hesitant confession. Crocuses poking through thawed earth, dogwoods blushing pink against the gray of grain silos. Dylan and I navigated the new normal with the caution of bomb techs. Mornings tangled in bed, his stubble grazing my jaw as we stole minutes before Jamie's school run. Evenings grilling burgers on the back patio, laughter mingling with fireflies. Romance rekindled in stolen ways, a mixtape of Springsteen ballads left on the dash. Dylan's scrawled lyrics in the margins. Thunder rode to you, always. It was tender, raw, the kind of love that scars and soothes in equal measure. But the school board letter festered like an untreated wound. Formal review, it read, citing parental complaints regarding personal lifestyle influencing instructional materials. Translation. My queerness was Exhibit A. Whitman's Calamus poems The Smoking Gun. I prepped for the hearing like a trial lawyer, syllabi annotated, endorsements from colleagues, even a petition from students who'd scrawled, Mr. Ellis made us love books. Dylan paced beside me, fury etched in new lines around his eyes. This town's cancer. Hunt. Cut it out or it spreads. Jamie caught wind. Of course, kids absorb tension like sponges. Over pancakes one drizzly Saturday, he piped up, syrup sticky. You in trouble cause of us. Daddy, my heart clenched. Dylan's fork clattered. Nah, buddy. Just grown-up paperwork. Like taxes, but with more arguing. He tilted his head, curls flopping. Then tell em what you told me. Love's not against the rules. Simple as that, his worldview. Unjaded, a beacon in our fog. The hearing convened in the high school library. Shelves of tomes silent witnesses to the Inquisition. Board members, stiff suits with Bibles peeking from briefcases, sat at a folding table. Mrs. Whitaker front row with her cadre of pearl clutchers. Carla showed, squeezing my shoulder. You've got this. Dylan waited outside with Jamie, their silhouettes through the window a talisman. I presented clean stats on diverse lit boosting empathy scores, quotes from NEA guidelines on inclusive education. Literature reflects life, I argued, voice steady. And life includes all of us, gay, straight, the whole spectrum. Murmurs rippled. Whitaker's lips thinned to a slash. But does it include proselytizing? Your relationship is public knowledge. It confuses the youth. Confusion. I'd seen the confusion in Jamie's eyes post Dylan's departure. Nights he'd sobbed. Did I make him go? No. The real confusion was this town's selective blindness. Ignoring teen suicides spiked by repression. Cheering traditional families that fractured under secrets. I leaned in, channeling every queer icon who'd ever faced a firing squad. If teaching truth confuses, then sign me up for chaos. These kids deserve mirrors, not masks. The board deliberated in whispers, clock ticking like a heartbeat. Verdict: reprimand, no termination but a sensitivity to materials henceforth. Hollow victory, tasting of ash. Outside, Dylan crushed me in a bear hug. Jamie cheering. You won, not won, survived. But in his eyes, it was epic. Our unbreakable saga. Chapter 3. Emboldened, we pushed boundaries. Dylan rejoined Little League Board, hosting a Pride at the Plate fundraiser. Rainbow wristbands for all. Proceeds to GLSEN. Backlash bit quick. Slashed banners. Anonymous calls hissing pervert coach. Ray, surprisingly, showed at the first game, hollering from bleachers with a sign. Hit it out. Ellis Jr. Progress. Prickly as thistle. Yet betrayal's ghost lingered, manifesting in Dylan's nightmares, Wake's thrashing, muttering Foster horrors. One night, post-storm, he confessed by moonlight filtering through blinds. Carla didn't just whisper doubts. She met me at a motel, offered money to leave, said it was for Jamie's real future. My blood ran Arctic. Betrayal squared. My own blood, bartering our love like stock options. She what? Fury blinded. I grabbed keys, storming to Carla's in the witching hour. She answered in robe, eyes wide. Hunt. I cut her off. Voice venom. You paid him off? Like we're trash you can sweep. Tears tracked her face. I thought I was saving you, this town. Choose up different. Dylan was weak. I saw it. Weak. The man who'd held Jamie through night terrors. Who'd tattooed my initial inside his wrist. You don't get to play God. Carla. You almost broke us permanent. We argued till dawn cracked. Her apologies crumbling walls. I was scared for you. For the family name. Family. The word soured. Blood don't mean unbreakable. Love does. I left her sobbing on the stoop. Drove home to Dylan curled on the couch. Jamie's blanket draped like armor. He stirred as I sat, pulling me close. Heard the truck. Everything. I nodded, spilling the rot. His laugh was bitter smoke. Explains the envelope she slipped me. 20 grand. For a fresh start. We sat in silence. Hands entwined. Betrayal's weight shared now. Lighter for it. Healing came in layers. Carla showed at our door days later. Pie in hands, apple. Humble pie. I'm sorry. Truly. Let me make it right. Jamie forgave first. Hugging her fierce. Aunts fix things, right? We let her in. Tentative tea party turning to truths. Her own marriage's cracks. Fears of judgment mirroring ours. I was blind, she admitted. But seeing you three. It's teaching me sight. Summer swelled. Humid and hopeful. We took a road trip. Route 66 echoes in a rented RV. Chasing horizons Dylan once fled. Stops at diners with neon signs buzzing open 24/7. Motels with heart-shaped tubs where we'd make love laughing. Jamie asleep to fireflies winking approval. In the Badlands, Under a sky bruised purple, Dylan proposed not with rings, but a vow, marry me, Hunt. Not for papers, but promise. Against whatever comes. Tears stung. I kissed him salt-sweet. Yes. 1,000 times. Back in Elmwood, wedding plans bloomed subversive. Backyard affair, wildflowers and whiskey. Invite list short but fierce. Carla officiating, ordained online. Earnest as hell. Ray grilling, veggie burgers included. Marlene baking rainbow layer cake. Her olive branch. But Joy's a jealous lover. Conflict crashed the rehearsal dinner like uninvited thunder. Whitaker's crew, emboldened by election season fearmongering, crashed the park pavilion we'd booked. Pamphlets flying. Protect our children from agenda. Chants rose. One man. One woman, traditional. Jamie clung to my leg. Eyes wide. Dylan's fists balled. Ray stepped up, bellowing, "Get off my nephew's lawn or grass." Chaos swirled, shoves, shouts, until sirens wailed, cops dispersing the mob. In the aftermath, bruised knuckles and battered spirits, we huddled at home. "This is why I left," Dylan whispered, ice on his jaw. Despair clawed, "Run or root." Jamie, tucked between us, murmured, "Remember dinner?" One sentence. His eyes, fierce. "We're unbreakable. Remember, say it with me." We did. Chorus against the night, resolve hardening like steel in fire. The wedding dawned golden, Elmwood holding breath. Vows exchanged under an arbor of honeysuckle. Dylan's voice steady. "I ran once. Never again. You're my compass. Hunt, north, south, all points home. Mine cracked. You broke me open, made me whole. With you, even storms feel like shelter." Jamie ringbearer, beaming as he delivered bands etched with unbreakable. Guests sparse but solid, colleagues toasting with craft IPAs, kids from Dylan's team waving foam fingers. Honeymoon was local magic. Cabin in Hocking, echoes of our past. Nights of rediscovery, bodies mapping old trails, whispers weaving futures. "Jamie's ours forever," Dylan said, fingers tracing my wedding band. "And this town will carve our space." Optimism bloomed, but reality's thorns waited. Fall term hit. My classroom a battlefield. Enrollment dipped. Whispers of boycott. Dylan thrived at the rec center. New program for LGBTQ+ youth drawing kids from shadows. But one evening, badge on my desk, a student lingered, Timmy, quiet sophomore with eyes like haunted lakes. "Mr. Ellis, you're why I didn't jump last year. Your class made me feel seen." He handed a note. "Thanks for the light." I hugged him awkward, heart fracturing anew. Worth it, every scar. Yet the knife twisted deeper. Anonymous email to the board, photos grainy, us kissing in the park post-wedding. Caption, immoral influence exposed. Inquiry reopened, this time with teeth. Suspension pending investigation. Dylan raged. Lawsuit, sue the bastards. But fight drained us. Jamie's questions sharpening. Why's everyone mad again? Climax brewed at the board's emergency session. Auditorium packed. Tension thick as fog off the river. I stood at the podium. Lights harsh. Faces blurred. These photos? Proof of love. Not crime. Whitaker sneered from seats. Love that corrupts minors. Booze. Cheers, cauldron bubbling. Then, from the back, a small voice amplified by Mike. Jamie, Dragged by Carla, marching forward. Stop hurting my dads. Bored gaped. I froze. They teach love. Real love. Like in books, happy endings for everyone. One sentence. Pure as spring rain. If you fire Daddy Hunt, you fire hope. And hope's what makes us strong. Auditorium hushed. Ripples spreading. A parent stood. Kids right. Another. Dismiss the charge. Votes shifted. Dismissal unanimous. Cheers erupted. Whitaker slinking out like smoke. We tumbled out into night air crisp with change. Jamie hoisted on Dylan's shoulders. Told ya. One sentence. Laughter bubbled. Tears free. Betrayals chains? Snapped. Love's victory? Hard won. Human. Winter's grip loosened into a tentative spring. Elmwood's fields greening like forgiveness underfoot. The board's reversal was a seismic shift. Headlines in the local rag. Boys please saves teacher dad's job. Whitaker's faction splintered. Some slinking to prayer chains. Others thawing with backyard barbecues laced with questions. So, how's married life? Awkward, but earnest. Carla became our unofficial ambassador, hosting unity dinners where Ray's jokes veered from barbs to banter. 2 grooms? Hell, as long as the cake's chocolate. Dylan and I leaned into the lull. Marriage a honeymoon phase extended. Lazy Sundays with newspapers and nap times. His head on my lap as I read aloud from Kerouac. Chasing roads not taken. Intimacy deepened. Not just flesh but soul. Post-love confessions by candlelight. Vulnerabilities bared like offerings. Leaving you was suicide slow, he'd admit. Fingers tracing my ribs. Coming back? Resurrection. I'd kiss his regrets away. Murmuring, we're phoenixes. Dill. Ash to fire. Jamie thrived. His confidence a contagion school play star as Tiny Tim. Declaring, God bless us. Every one. To applause that thundered. But undercurrents stirred. Dylan's ex-foster brother, Marco, surfaced via Facebook. Rough-edged vet from Seattle. Inquiring after the prodigal. Dylan tensed. Deleting messages. Ghosts best buried. I pressed gentle, or exorcised, secrets simmer, but we let it lie, focusing on now. Now included expansion. I pitched a lit elective on queer voices in American canon, Ginsberg to Baldwin, approved amid grumbles but greenlit. Enrollment overflowed, kids hungry for mirrors. Dylan launched safe bases at the Rec, youth group for LGBTQ+ allies, pizza and panels on coming out. First meeting, 10 teens, stories spilling like confessions. One girl, braces flashing, hugged Dylan. You're proof it gets better. His eyes glistened. Mine too, from the doorway. But romance's rose has thorns. Anniversary neared, 2 months marked, and Dylan planned a surprise. Weekend in Chicago, Windy City whirlwind. Train ride north. Jamie boarded with Carla, waving till platforms blurred. Hotel suite overlooked the Bean, silvered skyline mirroring our shine. Dinner at a jazz joint, trumpet wails weaving with wine, his foot hooking mine under table. To us, he toasted. Unbreakable remix. Back to the room. City lights pulsing like heartbeats. We undressed slow. His shirt peeled like petals, revealing the compass tattoo faded but fierce. Lovemaking was symphony. Urgent, then languid, bodies dialoguing in gasps and grips. Afterward, tangled in 600 thread sheets, he whispered plans. Adopt again? Sister for Jamie? My pulse skipped, family, fuller. Hell yes. But first, Survive Elmwood's sequel. Sequel struck swifter than lightning. Marco arrived unannounced. Mid-May, motorcycle growling up our drive like harbinger. Broad-shouldered, ink-sleeved, eyes like Dylan's but harder whiskey-burned. Bro, he boomed, bear hug crushing. Jamie gawked from the porch. Uncle Marco? Like in Daddy's stories. Dylan stiffened, forcing smile. What brings you east? Man, beer on the patio. Stories flowed. Marco's tours in Afghanistan. Discharge blues. Couchsurfing Seattle till Dylan cut ties post-departure. Heard you tied the knot. Queer as folk. Ha! Tone jovial, but edged. Dylan shifted. Yeah. Happy. Marco's laugh barked. Happy? After foster hell? Bull. I came to pull you back. West's got gigs. Real life. Not this picket fence prison. Tension crackled. I excused to kitchen. Eavesdropping. Marco low. You left for the kid. Fine. But staying? You're chained. Dill. Remember bunk beds. Plotting escape? This ain't freedom. Dylan's voice steel. Freedom's choice. Marco. Mine's here. Brotherly bond or blood. Marco's visit stretched. A week of fishing trips with Jamie, boy enthralled by war tales. Bar nights where Dylan returned hollow-eyed. Climax brewed at our delayed anniversary bash. Backyard luau. Tiki torches flickering. Neighbors mingling wary with allies. Carla's lays. Ray's ribs. Kids splashing kiddie pool. Marco held court. Tales embellished. Dill and me. Against the world. Till he went soft. Laughter uneasy. Dylan's jaw ticked. Jamie. Pina colada mustache. Tugged him. Dance with Daddy Hunt. They did slow sway to ukulele croons. My hand on his waist. World narrowing to us. But Marco cornered me by the cooler. Breath beery. He's faking it, you know. For the brat. Deep down. He's running scared, always has. Betrayals echo. Sibling edition. I shoved back. Scared? He's braver staying. You're the ghost haunting. Fistfight nearly erupted. Ray pulling Marco. Carla me. Party fracturing into whispers. Dylan confronted him dawn-lit kitchen. Jamie asleep upstairs. Go. Marco. You're poison. Brother's eyes flashed hurt. I'm you without the leash. Wake up. Door slammed. Motorcycle faded. Dylan slumped. Head in hands. He knew me broken. Sees me fixed. Calls it cage. I held him. Rocking gentle. Cages have keys. You chose the door. Feeling hurt. But hastened. Marco's exit unearthed more. Letters from foster days. Pleas for connection Dylan hoarded like shame. We burned them together. Pyre in the fire pit. Ashes to wind. Clean slate, Dylan vowed. Summer solstice. We submitted adoption inquiry. Girl. Ideally, to balance Jamie's tornado energy. Fall brought bounty. Harvest festivals. Hayrides where Dylan kissed me hay-scented under harvest moon. Unashamed. School year soared. My elective a hit. Timmy outing himself at homecoming, parents hugging. Not hating. Your class gave me guts, he texted. Pride swelled. Paternal. But human frailty fells giants. Dylan's coaching gig soured. Parent complaint. Inappropriate role model. Meeting with league brass. Echoes of my inquisition. He stormed home. Cleats kicked off. They want me gone. Say I'm glamorizing alternative lifestyles. Rage boiled. Jamie overheard. Crumpling. Do we have to move? No, we rallied. Petition drive. Town hall testimony. Carla rallied PDA. Dylan's saved more kids from bullies than you know. Ray testified gruff. Boy's a damn fine coach. Personal life's personal. Jamie's turn. Mic in tiny hands. Coach Dill teaches heart. And heart wins games. Board relented. Contract renewed. Euphoria short-lived. November chill carried flu season. Dylan caught it hard, fever spiking, cough rattling like loose change. I fretted. Chicken soup simmering. Jamie drawing get well dragons. But tests came back. Pneumonia. Rooted deeper stress. Perhaps. Or old foster scars on lungs. Hospital in Columbus. Sterile halls echoing our fears. Waiting room vigil. Carla pacing. Ray dozing. Jamie coloring stoically. Doctor's words gutted. Underlying issue. Possible long-term management. He's stable, but lifestyle changes. Lifestyle? Code for quit smoking, guilty. Ease stress, ha. Dylan, pale in gown, gripped my hand. Not leaving again. Hunt. Promise. I kissed his knuckles. Foretaped. Good. 'Cause unbreakable means forever. Recovery was slog. Home health. Dylan sidelined from coaching. Tempers flaring in cabin fever. One night, argument ignited over nothing. Dishes. Dinner. Escalating to core. You resent nursing me? He accused. Resent? I resent the world that broke you first. Truths tumbled. My fear of loss. His guilt eternal. We collapsed weeping. Apologies armor. Partners, we reaffirmed. Sex sidelined but souls entwined. Jamie's resilience shone. Bedtime stories swapped. Him reading to Dylan from dog-eared where the wild things are. Let the wild rumpus start. Laughter healed faster than meds. By Thanksgiving, our fourth since the sentence, Dylan was up, carving turkey with flair. Table full. Carla's brood. Ray and Marlene thawed. Even Timmy with parents. Tentative thanks. Toast circled to health, to heart. Jamie raised glass, juice to my dad's. One sentence started it all. Room chuckled. Dylan winked at me. But under table, his hand squeezed, code for I love you. Post-feast. Dishes soaking. We slipped to porch, stars pricking velvet sky. Year 3, he murmured. Better than dreams. Kiss deepened. Promise sealed. Yet narrative arcs demand descent before ascent. Christmas Eve. Package arrived, no sender. Seattle postmark. Inside, Marco's dog tags. Note scrawled. Saw your story online. Proud. Bro. Finally free. M. Dylan teared. Clutching metal. He gets it now. Closure. Bittersweet. New Year's dawned resolutions. Family therapy, Carla joined. Unpacking her payoffs. Adoption push, match. Sweet-faced Ellie. For waiting. But by tragedy loomed, Ellie's file flagged, challenging behaviors. Echoes of Jamie's start. Doubts crept. Can we handle two? Dylan fierce. We're unbreakable. Remember. Winter waned. Hope waxing. Ellie's visit. Whirlwind of pigtails and questions. Jamie instant big bro. Home study passed. Papers signed. Family of 4. Pending. But climax's shadow fell. League revoked Dylan's renewal, citing ongoing concerns. Public slight. Poison pen. Press hounded. Coach outed amid controversy. Dylan broke in kitchen. Mug shattering. I'm done fighting ghosts. Flight instinct flared. Bags half-packed. I blocked door. Heart hammering. Run. And you run from us. Tears streamed. He raged. For you. To spare the pain. Jamie burst in. Eyes wild. Don't leave. Please. Collapse, trio huddle. Sobs symphony. Dylan's whisper. I can't lose you. Truth, he wouldn't. We wouldn't. League folded under backlash. Petition 500 strong. Headlines shifting. Community rallies for beloved coach. Job reinstated. With apology. Victory Pyrrhic. But ours. Spring bloomed full. Ellie's arrival. Chaos joyful, diapers and dinosaurs. Double the love. Wedding vow renewed in backyard. Family witness. Dylan to me. You and the kids. My every north. Me and south. East. West. Unbreakable. Yet humanity humbles. Ellie's nightmares echoed Jamie's. Nights tag-teaming comfort. Dylan's lungs whispered warnings. Checkups routine. But in the fray, we found grace. Love not flawless, but fierce. Summer solstice picnic. 4 of us under oak. Sandwiches soggy. Laughter loud. Jamie to Ellie. Our dads? Superheroes. She giggled. Daisy chain crown slipping. Dylan caught my eye. This is it. Betrayal scars? Faint lines. Maps to strength. Elmwood? Still flawed. But ours, carved with sentences. Sealed with kisses. Autumn's palette painted elmwood in fire. Leaves torching maples. Air crisp with cider and change. Ellie's integration was a tapestry woven rough. First days terror-filled. Her clinging to Dylan's leg like a koala. Wailing at shadows from old homes. Jamie, patient saint, built forts of couch cushions, dubbing them safe castles where monsters couldn't reach. Nights blurred into tag-team vigils. Me with storybooks soft-voiced. Dylan humming lullabies gravel low. His hand steady despite the faint wheeze in his chest. Therapy became our compass. Family sessions in a sunlit office. Dr. Lena guiding us through minefields. Ellie's drawings. Stick families with hearts orbiting like planets. Hung on our fridge like talismans. Carla joined sporadically. Her presence a bridge mending. I was wrong about payoffs. Let me help now. She did babysitting marathons. PDA advocacy for inclusive adoption awareness. Even Ray softened. Gifting Ellie a tiny fishing rod. Gotta teach him early. Or the base win. Marlene baked welcome pies. Gluten-free for Ellie's tummy woes. Her apologies baked in crust. Dylan's health stabilized, inhaler rituals. Walks trading smoke for strides, but vulnerability lingered. Intimacy shifting to tender. Mornings with coffee and quiet talks. His head on my shoulder as birdsong filtered windows. Romance rekindled subtle. Notes in lunchboxes. Miss your chaos. Stolen dances in kitchen to radio croons. Sex returned gradual. Exploratory, less fire. More ember, but no less profound. You're my anchor, he'd breathe. Bodies aligning like puzzle ends. School year ramped. My queer lit class expanded. Guest speakers like local author, non-binary poet drawing crowds. Timmy, now out and proud, TA'd his energy electric, crediting me. You showed me words as weapons. Dylan's safe bases boomed. Teens confiding suicides averted. Alliances forged. League brass, chastened, named him Mentor of the Year. Ceremony where Jamie pinned the badge. Ellie clapping chubby hands. But arcs demand tension. Marco's return, this time shadowed. Holiday card morphed to call. Voice slurred. Need a couch, bro. Biker life's biting. Dylan hesitated. Eyes on me. One night. I nodded. Trust tested but tender. Marco rolled in eve of Thanksgiving. Dinner. Eyes hollowed by bottle. Dinner table tense. Ray's glares. Carla's tight smiles. Kids wide-eyed. Stories veered dark. PTSD flares. Bar fights. Post-feast. Porch confessions. You got the dream. Dill. Me? Nightmares on loop. Dylan offered rehab pamphlets. Brotherly arm. But dawn brought discovery. Marco rifling Dylan's wallet. Ellie's new doll borrowed. Fury flashed. Confrontation kitchen chaos. Stealing from my kids? Get out. Marco sneered. Venom vintage. See? This life's a trap. You'll crack. Leave him like I would've. Betrayal redux. Familial fracture. Dylan shoved him to door. Not me. Not us. Motorcycle faded. Silence heavy. Later. Dylan wept. Am I him? The runner. I held fierce. No. You're redeemed. Healing hastened by holidays. Christmas tree trimmed with kid-made stars. Lights winking approval. Gifts modest. Ellie's locket with our photos. Jamie's telescope for stargazing families. New Year's. 4 of us under blanket fort. Resolutions whispered. More forts. Less fear. Carla hosted Unity Feast. Marco absent but forgiven in absentia. Dylan mailing pamphlets. Door open but distant. Winter thawed to spring's promise. Ellie's firsts cascaded, steps unaided. Words tumbling, data dill. Preschool enrollment amid tears. Adoption finalized in court. Judge beaming. Lucky kids. Lucky dads. Party backyard. Balloons. Burgers. Townies toasting. Whitaker even sent card. Progress. But climax crested gentle. Dylan's checkup revealed spot. Benign. But biopsy advised. Waiting room redux. Hands clasped white-knuckled. Results, clear. Relief tsunami. We celebrated lakeside. Kids splashing. Us wading waist-deep. Dodged the bullet. Dylan laughed. But eyes held depth. Mortality's brushstroke. Summer swelled family. Vacations to Niagara. Mist veiling falls like veils lifted. Ellie's giggles echoing caves. Jamie's facts peppering hikes. Romance peaked spontaneous. Hotel night sans kids. Dylan surprising with candles. Playlist of our anthems. Love-making fervent. Reclaiming, every year's better, he gasped. Post-glow. Balcony stars. Kids are thriving. We're us. Fall term. Crescendo soft. School board invites me keynote. Diversity's dividend. Standing podium. Family front row. Words flowed. Love's not plot twist. It's the spine. Applause thundered. Whitaker nodded. Fractional thaw. Thanksgiving circled, 5th since the sentence. Table groaned abundance. Turkey golden. Pies piled. Kin complete. Toasts wove gratitude. Carla's to second chances. Ray's gruff. To the boy who schooled us. Marlene's teary. To unbreakable. Jamie raised fork. To one sentence that started everything. Ellie echoed garbled. Charming chaos. Post-meal. Porch swing creak, Dylan and I. Mugs steaming. 5 years, he mused. From fracture to full. I leaned head on shoulder. Human arc. Messy. But ours. Kids inside. Crashing toys. Future hummed. Open-ended. Yet humanism tempers triumph. Ellie's tantrums test patience. Dylan's cough lingers chronic. Elmwood's edges grate occasional. But in fray, grace abounds, therapy tweaks, community circles widening. Marco checks in sober, rehab stuck. Thanks, bro. Redemption ripples. Denouement dawns ordinary. School drop-off. Jamie's backpack bounce. Ellie's pigtails fly. Dylan coaches from sidelines. Whistle round neck. Home. Dinner simmers, chilly. Postcard nod. Bedtime rituals. Stories shared. Kisses double. Kissing Dylan goodnight. Light low. Love you. Always. His smile. Compass true. And I you. Unbreakable. In Elmwood's heart, our story unfolds. Not epic finale, but chapters infinite. One sentence sparked, countless weave the tapestry. Human, flawed, fierce, love's quiet revolution.